Hey everyone, Pupsker here, and today in Wayfinder we're going to go over the only Wayfinder that you'll never be able to farm in-game. That's right, that is Heroic Kyros. Heroic Kyros is the one Wayfinder that'll only ever be available through the Early Access Exalted Founders Pack, which is the most expensive pack. It's around like 150 Canadian, okay? It's pretty expensive. Now, if you play Warframe, Heroic Kyros is essentially equivalent to Excalibur Prime. Excalibur Prime was the founder pack high-tier Warframe that Digital Extremes sold when they initially released early access or beta release, whatever it was, for Warframe. Cost a pretty penny, but now there's a handful, tons of people, but not too many out there, having the one and only unfarmable Excalibur Prime. So that is the equivalent of Heroic Kyros. After this approximate 6-month early access period, you will not be able to get Heroic Kyros. So if it's a game that you plan to play for the long term, go for it if you have the money type of deal. Other than that, it's not like it's a big deal. Heroic Kyros does actually have slightly better stats than regular Kyros. While their abilities and everything work the exact same way, Heroic Kyros is just a straight slightly stat boosted Kyros. You can see the difference here. This is given off the WikiZ. I don't know how accurate this is at the moment, but a lot of people are saying it's like a 5-10% difference. Hey, you be the judge. It shows Kyros being a little weaker, like noticeably maybe 10% or so weaker at max stats, compared to Heroic Kyros being, you know, about 10% stronger. The main difference you can notice is weapon power, max health resilience is slightly higher, same with crit rating, ability power, right? Everything is noticeably higher, especially ability power, if that's all true. I will be leveling up my Heroic Kyros to 30 as soon as I can, and you know, we'll see how true all of the stat boosting really is, but for now, it looks like Heroic Kyros is one of those just stat boosted Wayfinders, so pick them up if you want to. If not, it's not like it's really a big deal. Technically, if you plan on playing the game, you can buy a very cheap, like $20 founder pack, the cheapest tier that they're selling. And if you ever really want to upgrade to Heroic Kyros or any of the other packs, you can just spend the money difference. So first pack's $20, and I think you can eventually buy the 130 pack, but it's pretty expensive, so yeah. And it is still an early access beta type of deal. Reminder, the servers are getting absolutely slammed, so I would say if you haven't bought it right now, give it another week or two and then check in on the servers, because dang man, is Airship Syndicate getting attacked, and the servers are getting siege laid upon them. So I've gotten my Kyros Heroic up to about level 10 so far, and it's going pretty well. All of the footage you're seeing in the background is me just leveling on stream, so twitch.tv/Pupsker if you ever want to swing by. I also have Epic Games creator code Pupsker if you want to support the channel. But hey, other than that, let's go over the Wayfinder's abilities. So let's talk about what Heroic Kyros actually does. For his passive, Arcane Fragments grant extra charges of Savage Rake. Generate Arcane Fragments by using Siphon Radiant on enemies, landing combo finishers, and from various ability upgrades. TLDR, hit your abilities, use your second ability, and use combos with your melee, and you get more charges of your first ability, and all in all, pretty good. You get also slight little damage upgrade, so you do want to complete your combos on your weapon, as well as use your abilities and kill enemies. It seems like Heroic Kyros himself plays such as a melee DPS mage, so I'm kitting him more into ability power, but hey, maybe you'd want to kit him more into weapon power, but he seems to play more like an ability power, high damage mage, so keep that in mind. First ability, Savage Rake. rakes the ground with violent energy. Dealing damage to all enemies in front of Kyros, arcane fragments can be consumed to cast Savage Rake without using an ability charge. Level 1, because each ability can be upgraded leveled 3 times, but not fully, because you only have so many ability points to allocate. I would say you probably want to upgrade Savage Rake because it seems to be your main DPS ability, so keep that in mind. Level 1, increase rake damage. Level 2, unlock a third Savage Rake combo finisher, which deals an extra 25% damage. So you'd want to have 3 bursts, ideally, to do a lot of damage. Level 3, hitting a target with Savage Rake heals Kyros a small amount, and there it is. That is a built-in sustain. You'll probably want that a little bit, because sustain can be a huge pain, especially if you're using like the mushroom floral imbuement, so keep that in mind. Savage Rake, really strong, really good overall. I want to upgrade that. So, you have the other ability, Siphon Radiant. This is technically second ability. Release a wave of energy around Kyros that damages enemies and absorbs arcane power, reducing cooldown and granting an arcane fragment. TLDR, damages enemies, gets you an arcane fragment, and buffs your ability power. Use this and then burst with your other abilities. Level 1, cooldown reduction increase to 50%. Level 2, Siphon Radiant generates 1 fragment per enemy hit, up to the fragment cap. Ridiculous. Level 3, increased damage taken for 10 seconds to the enemies. I think this is ridiculous, and I will be leveling this ability up to level 3 as well. Siphon Radiant and Savage Rake I will be leveling up to level 3 as they seem the most used and most important abilities for Kyros. That's what I'm doing, but build Kyros however you feel like. Third ability, Arcane Focus. Good ability, but I like the other 2 more. Mark enemies in the immediate area. Mark increases in power as the marked target is hit. After reaching max power or after 8 seconds, the mark explodes, makes enemies bombs essentially, dealing damage based on the power of the mark. So it's not a bad ability, I just feel like I get more utility out of the other 2. Level 1 increases explosion damage by a moderate amount. Level 2 increases effect radius of arcane focus. And then level 3 deals a small amount of damage each time you hit a target with arcane focus. Maybe I'll level that up a little bit after the other 2, but I'm not too sure yet, so keep that in mind. But it does do good damage. It's just not anywhere as useful as the other 2, but it'll still explode and do damage after 8 seconds or if it gets hit enough, so it still does good damage on all enemies. Keep that in mind, right? Now, your ultimate ability, Hand of Reckoning. Oddly enough, I don't think I want to max Hand of Reckoning on Kyros, but we'll see. Deal massive damage to enemies in a large radius around Kyros. The issue is it takes so long to charge, so I don't think the damage output is equal or as good as your first or second ability and utility overall. But let's take a look. Level 1 slows enemies by 50% for 6 seconds. Okay. Level 2 generate an arcane fragment per enemy hit. Okay. And level 3 increase damage by 15%. So essentially it has very similar upgrades to your Siphon Radiant, but it's just you're gonna use this a lot less. So I would not recommend upgrading your Hand of Reckoning on Kyros. I would upgrade your Savage Rake, your Siphon Radiant, and then your Arcane Focus. I think that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so for the archetype abilities, you have Innervation Orb and Blink, Mechanic and Dodge. Defeating enemies has a chance to spawn an Innervation Orb, which can be consumed by the Arcanist or their allies to increase ability power. You get those a lot. Then Blink. Arcanists benefit from the largest invincibility window when dodging attacks with their Blink, and also travel an increased distance. So, how are you going to play this boyo? Melee and dodge. Melee, ability, and dodge. You don't want to block, but hey, if you're using the scythe, sometimes you're going to block. You could probably parry pretty well if you have daggers and if you like parrying though, but hey, it's up to you, right? Lastly, we have the Affinity Perks. Let's go over first Instinct. So you have 5 levels of unlock: Ultimate Orb, Focus, and Weight at level 5, 15, and 25. First off, each arcane fragment that is consumed by Savage Rake will slightly charge your ultimate meter. Good, useful. Your level 15, hits against a target with Arcane Focus will slightly charge your ultimate meter. Cool. And then lastly, weapon abilities now slightly charge your ultimate meter based on the amount of weapon resource consumed. So Instinct will make it so you ult more, do more damage. Not bad, not bad. Then you have Discipline. Increased damage dealt after using an Arcane Fragment by 5% for 5 seconds, stacking up to 3 times. Second one decreases incoming damage after using an arcane fragment by 3% for 8 seconds, stacking up to 5 times. And lastly, while you have maximum arcane fragments, Savage Rake reduces the cooldown time of your other abilities by 20%. So overall, I like that a lot too. The first one's just charging your ulti, while the second one is both damage, tankiness, and cooldown reduction in general. So it's pretty good, but I'm right now maxing my Instinct mainly for ability power damage because Kyros, so I might go Discipline next. But lastly, you have Focus. Grants a 50% chance to gain an Arcane Fragment when picking up an Innervation Orb. Yeah, okay, not bad. Second, you have increased max possible Arcane Fragments by 2, up to 5. Okay, also actually really good. And then lastly, increased damage dealt by 2% for each Arcane Fragment stored. So you could get 5, so max 10% damage increase. Hey, also not bad, but I think I like Discipline more. My focus plan is Instinct and then maybe Discipline and throw some onto Focus to maybe get that level 5 infused orb buff. So yeah, let me know what you think. That is the generals of Kyros, but again, you know, if I explained it well, explained it not, let me know. I did get all of the stats, information, and pictures off of the Wayfinder Wiki Zet page because that's the one I prefer to use and that's the one I'm planning to use going forward. Some of it could, of course, be wrong, updated, changed later on, but it is what it is. You have echo slots, general stats, scaling, and base stats that I didn't really bother going over because I don't think it matters too much. You'll unlock all of that as time goes on and as the game progresses. So hey, yeah, let me know what you think. Sub, like, and check out all my other Wayfinder videos if you want to support the channel. I'll try to get a Wayfinder video playlist going so it's easier to find all my Wayfinder videos, such as I already do with my Warframe videos. But hey, it is what it is. Let me know what you think. Sub, like, and check out all the other videos. It all supports the channel, and I just plan to make more general Wayfinder videos, whether that's on stream, off stream, or what have you. I have TennoCon and a lot of other stuff soon, so I'll be going on a little adventure. Don't, you know, don't miss me too much. So thank you all for watching, subbing, and I will see you next time. Cheers.